Okay, so you know how it is, right? You want to like get right to the good stuff. You know the things that are really important, but you don't want to wade through a ton of information to get there. Well, that's what we're all about here, and that's the deep dive we're going to take today. We're focusing in on something that's got people talking all over the baseball world, this brand new bat that's kind of got this nickname, the Torpedo bat. And, the minute it showed up in Major League Baseball, there's been this like instant buzz, but also maybe a little bit of controversy.
Yeah, for sure. And what's been so fascinating is this YouTube video transcript we've been going through, like really digging into it. And it's got, a bunch of different reactions, a bunch of different viewpoints. Think of this deep dive, like your cheat sheet almost, right? Getting you up to speed on this whole torpedo bat thing without you needing to watch the whole video.
And it's not like this is some random piece of equipment either. This is the New York Yankees we're talking about, a team that always seems to be right there in the thick of things. And as soon as they start using these bats, boom, the entire baseball world is like, whoa, what's going on here? So let's really break this down. What is it about this torpedo bat that's got everybody so fired up?
Well, the main thing is the way it's designed. A traditional bat, the weight's spread out more evenly along the barrel. But the torpedo bat, they've moved the weight closer in towards the hands.
So it's all about like shifting that weight around, huh? What's the advantage of doing that? Why change up where the weight is?
Exactly. The idea is that if you put more of the weight near the hands, the bat's going to feel lighter, right? But here's the key.
Mm.
It also might be way easier to control. And that could be a huge deal for hitters who have trouble with those inside pitches, the ones that jam them up. They can't quite get that sweet spot on the ball.
And we're already seeing some pretty big names giving these bats a try. Anthony Volpe, playing for the Yankees, he's one of the first guys to make the switch, and he's specifically using the Vexus Torpedo model. Our source, they pointed that out.
Yep, and it's not just Volpe. Cody Bellinger, he's been trying him out too, and he's saying good things about him. He mentioned that he likes how the weight makes the bat feel lighter, makes it easier to, swing through the zone.
Here's the thing that I find super interesting. The origin story of this bat, right? It wasn't invented by some big sports company. It was actually inspired by a former Yankees analyst, this guy Aaron Linhard. And get this, he now works for the Miami Marlins. So basically the Yankees' rivals might have given them the key to this whole thing. Isn't that wild?
That's pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
Now, the big question everyone's asking is, are these bats even legal? And the answer is yes. This isn't like some sneaky under-the-table modification. Major League Baseball came out and officially said, the torpedo bat is legal under Rule 3.02. No questions asked.
Which, of course, brings us to the big point, right? What happened when players started using them? And man, did the Yankees come out swinging. Our source talked about this one weekend where they hit, get this, 15 home runs. 15, including 9 in a single game on a Saturday. And guess what? That was when they started using the torpedo bats. No wonder people started raising an eyebrow.
For sure. Obviously, just because something happens at the same time doesn't mean one thing caused the other, right? But the timing of it all, it definitely got people talking. And beyond the Yankees, there were reports of other players experimenting with the torpedo bat, too. Some big names, too, like Jazz Chisholm, Cody Bellinger again, Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Riley. They're all giving it a shot.
And then there's this guy, Ellie De La Cruz, playing for the Cincinnati Reds. His first game using the torpedo bat, and get this, 4 hits and 5 at-bats. 2 of them were home runs. He got 7 RBIs, and the Reds won against the Texas Rangers. I mean, talk about a statement game.
Definitely a game to remember. But with all this excitement and all these players seeming to do so well, it's no surprise that a debate's brewing. Is this like a natural evolution of baseball equipment, or does it go against, the spirit of the game?
And one of the most vocal critics is Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports. He's a die-hard Red Sox fan, and let me tell you, he does not hold back when it comes to sharing his opinions.
Understatement of the year. Dave's reaction really shows what a lot of baseball fans believe in. The skill of the game, the pure battle between the hitter and the pitcher. He basically says the torpedo bat is like using a corked bat that's an illegal bat that people mess with to hit the ball farther. He even calls it cheating. He blames some physicist for ruining baseball. Can you believe that?
He doesn't mince words, that's for sure. He says the bat sucks. He calls it cheating. He even tells the story from when he was playing baseball in high school. He hit a ball off the label of the bat, which, according to him, meant he made a bad swing. His point is, this new bat takes away that skill, that feedback you get from a good or bad swing. It's almost like it's making it too easy.
It's the classic traditionalist viewpoint, right?
Yeah.
New technology is messing with the pure skill of hitting. But then you've got another guy, Tom, who has a totally different take.
Right. Tom, he's got a more modern view of sports. He sees it as this constant competition where teams are always going to try to find any advantage they can as long as it's legal. And to him, the Yankees are just being smart. They're playing by the rules, but they're finding a way to get ahead. And he makes a really good point. Rules in sports, they're not set in stone. They're always changing.
Yeah, and he uses some good examples to prove his point. He brings up spider tack in baseball. Pitchers used to use it to get a better grip on the ball. It was legal at first, but then they banned it because it was messing with the game too much. He also talked about how the NFL changes its rules all the time. You know, stuff about pass interference, protecting quarterbacks, making sure players are safe. Leagues are always adjusting to keep things fair and exciting.
So Tom's basically saying, look, if it's legal, teams are not just going to use it, they should use it. They should be doing everything they can to win within the rules. It's like that whole thing with spider tack. At first, everyone was using it. Then the league had to step in and say no more.
And you know what? It looks like his prediction about teams adopting the torpedo bat is already coming true. Our source says that a bunch more teams are using them, or at least thinking about it. The Reds, the Orioles, the Cubs, the Twins, the Rays. It's like everyone's curious about this thing.
All right, so what about the Yankees themselves? Their offense is on fire, and they're using these new bats. What are they saying about it all?
Well, their manager, Aaron Boone, he's downplaying the whole thing. He's basically saying, we're just trying to find any little edge we can get. It's kind of a low-key response, maybe because he doesn't want people thinking the bat's the only reason they're doing so well.
And then you've got Aaron Judge, the captain. He's hitting tons of home runs, but he makes this point of comment like, my track record speaks for itself. What he's saying is he doesn't need this new bat. And according to our source, he's not even using it. And when a guy like Aaron Judge, a superstar like that, says that, well, that means something.
It definitely does. Now, here's the big question for Major League Baseball. What happens if everyone starts using the torpedo bat? What if it changes the whole game? What if hitters start hitting way more home runs than ever before?
It's like that whole spider tack thing all over again, isn't it? Something's allowed, it gives players an advantage, and then suddenly everyone's using it. And then the league has to figure out, okay, is this really what we want? Is this changing the game too much?
Exactly. And Tom, in the video, he says the league's going to have to make a decision. They can't just ignore this. It's not just about whether it's legal or not. It's about whether it's fair, whether it makes the game better or worse.
You know, our source even uses this phrase inside baseball, talking about how we're really getting into the nitty-gritty here. But those little details, they're important, you know? They help us really understand what's going on.
And then, just to shake things up a bit, Tom throws out these crazy ideas for making baseball more exciting. Almost like he's saying, if we're going to change the game, let's go all out.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. He's like, let's bring back steroids. Let everyone use corked bats and torpedo bats. Let's have fights on the field. Let's have players yell at the umpires more. And heck, why not bring in some cheerleaders while we're at it? He even compares it to the NFL, you know, how they're all about entertainment. It's a pretty wild take, especially for baseball.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Makes you think, you know. What does it mean for a sport to stay true to its roots while also trying to stay relevant and exciting?
Okay, so just a quick detour here. Our source brought up this funny little rumor about Shohei Ohtani. Apparently, people were saying he was dating Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. They quickly cleared it up, though. It's just a rumor, nothing to it. It just shows you how much people are interested in the personal lives of these famous athletes.
But even compared it to other athlete celebrity couples like Matt Kemp and Rihanna. Sometimes those relationships, they can be a distraction, you know. But the main thing here is neither Aaron Judge nor Shohei Ohtani, two of the biggest stars in baseball, they're not using these torpedo bats.
Which is interesting, right? The best players in the game, they don't seem to feel like they need this new technology. But everyone else is jumping on board. Maybe it's different for players at different points in their careers, you know?
So, as we wrap up our deep dive here, the big takeaway is this. We've got this new piece of equipment, this torpedo bat, and it might be a game changer. Right now, it's totally legal, but it's caused a lot of debate. Some people think it's a clever innovation, perfectly fine within the rules. Others think it's messing with the core skills of the game, changing baseball in a way that's not good.
And like we've seen before in baseball and in other sports, something can be legal. But if it starts to mess things up, if it gives some players an unfair advantage, leagues have to step in. Remember spider tack? It was the same thing.
So here's something for you to think about. Baseball, it's a game with a long history, lots of tradition, and sports in general, they're always evolving. So, do you think this torpedo bat, is it a natural part of that evolution, or is it taking things too far? And beyond the torpedo bat, what other little changes in sports have ended up having huge consequences? It's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out over the rest of the baseball season. Will everyone be using torpedo bats? Will they change the game forever? We'll have to wait and see.